you know, for example, somebody that wants limited government, narrow government, you shouldn't do anything else. You should just build roads and have a military. The Tea Party, okay? 40% of them, 40% do not want Medicare cut, Medicaid cut, or mess with Social Security. You see what I mean? And so people are having to look at it a little bit differently than they did. And what the most interesting statistic was that 25% of active Tea Party members voted for Obama. Isn't that interesting? I never thought about that. Anyway, sir.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to say that I consider you to be one of the straight shooters, people that come out and say what they mean. In the Democratic Party, I think right now there's not too many of those who are willing to stand up and say something. There's too many that are wishy-washy. They're too general. They're not like the Republicans. The Republicans will come out and hit you in the face with what they want. And the Democrats are saying, well, let's get along. You know, let's do this here. And we get absolutely nowhere with the let's get along type of philosophy. Not with the Republicans in there. Definitely not. Why aren't there more Democrats out there now that are actually trying to, you know, get a little bit more like the 30s type Democrats? You know, the guys who actually got something really done and weren't afraid to take on some of these people.
That's been
like you.
Well, there's a bunch. We're not the majority, but there's a bunch. Good colleagues that are willing to take a risk.
Can I give you an example of what I'm talking about too? It's like you mentioned that it's 3% of the deficit that can be taken care of by these things.
Yeah.
Okay, why is it that the Democrats can't bring out, you know, that fact so stronger, so that people can understand the fact that they're getting boondoggled? Why can't they bring out the other factors in a way that is going to get the people of this country enthused and understand what's going on? Because the Republicans lie through their teeth. They come out and say things that make people hate other people, you know, that divide other people left and right, and they get away with it constantly. Fox News is just one big lie after another as far as I'm concerned. You know, so why do they get away with it and not get called?
Well,
then, you know, they don't get called on it.
I grew up in a neighborhood where I got beat up a lot. I know it was because I talked too much. I get on this guy's nerves, so they shut me up. But I think what's happening with the Democratic Party right now is healthy. That we're starting to push the envelope. Should we be where we are? No. I think we're too cautious. I don't think we rally people. I think we play too much around the edges and in the middle, and not enough contradiction. Somebody once said that if you hit a Republican in the nose really hard, they get mad. If you hit a Democrat in the nose really hard, he gets sad. And so I think we've kind of reached a point that more and more people, you know, we had a really good progressive budget that we wanted. We got 77 people to vote for it. Democrats, that's not enough to win the day, but let me tell you, maybe 4 years ago, we'd have done the same thing. We'd have gotten about 31. So there's progress being made, and I think where the Democratic Party is getting pushed is from you. It's from you, because we got too comfortable playing on the edges and in the middle. So you became no risk. We gotta get the next election, so let's not take a risk. And the lesson to be learned from this last election, our opponents took the risk and they won. And hopefully that's something that now we're beginning to understand. There's enough of us that are going to be an irritant to other Democrats, if we need to be. Because part of the thing we need to be is independent. And if we have to criticize our dear president in the White House, we have to do it. And if we have to criticize the Senate, we have to do it. And if we have to criticize the leadership in the House, we're going to do it. And we've been doing it. Because I firmly believe that unless we connect with the people out there, we're going to be a minority party for the rest of our times. And this is our chance to do it. And because I think they made a huge, huge underestimation of where the American people are.
It did the same thing in '93 with
I hope
Newt Gingrich and that in the sex thing. Whenever they get power in large numbers, that's the game they're going to play.
But see, what happened though, we never undid a lot of their policies, you know, and we never really undid the time we were there. When we had the majority for 4 years, we were pressing, roll back these damn tax cuts. They're killing us. Didn't happen. And now we negotiated for another 2 years to keep them in place, and all that does is add to it. The leadership, I voted against all these. The leadership agreed to a just $38 billion cut, that and more to come. I think all of us had to be home for 2 weeks, and all of us had to go and talk to groups like you. And I hope everybody comes back when we go back on Monday with a different perspective of what's happening out there in America.
Congressman?
One question. Let me see if there's anybody else before I go back to you. Sir.
I'm just wondering, like, most of us, homeless and everything like this, our basic mostly needs is medically. It's our eyesight, our teeth, we walk a lot, so our feet, you know, and we go to the doc, and then sometimes they give us like the main people here saying, there's no in. They don't let us in and get our attention. They'll let us in and then book us out. Medical, teeth, and eyes. I went down to El Rio a few times, and they told me, come in, and then you wait all day, and then they say, oh, adios. So all I'm saying is, all we need is our basic needs, our eyesight, our teeth, and our we walk a lot, you know.
And too many of folk, homeless folk,
basic need when we need it.
they have no coverage at all. That's a big part of the 50 million people that walk around this country with no ability to get any health care at all. Yeah, I know.
And part of that is their resources are getting cut too, because part of that support comes from the federal government. So that means that's another area of rationing.
So how do we
Yeah,
get it? How can we
my
get
sister works at El Rio, works with senior citizens, and they did, as the cuts continue to hit, it's so, because all the people that, like the people that work here, they're here because they want to be here. And so what happens is that their caseload goes higher and higher and higher to the point where you can't do it. So then what happens? You come in when everybody is tapped out, and you either have to wait an extremely long time, or they can't see you. Yeah, and so there's only I love the Republicans like to say you got to do more with less. I'd like them to spend one day in a walk-in clinic and tell me how you do more with less. You know. Yes, dear.
When I came to where I live at 5 Points, I got in there because, the women's shelters for abuse were crowded. So, versus, there's 30 days there if you get in. I've got in the 2-year program. But then there's still not a lot of programs, at the homeless shelters for women. So they've cut a lot of things because it's mostly geared towards, the men that I've noticed. Because, there's only a few of us where I live that are female. So, they need, because we have the future, we have the kids, and we're usually the ones, out there stuck with our children. We're not getting most of the help that,
Gotcha.
And it's pretty hard.
Thank you. And I appreciate that comment because I include myself. You tend to overlook that very obvious fact. I appreciate it. Thank you. Sir?
Well, I'm working at Safeway. It's like I've seen that a lot of the insurance-based programs that are in like corporations, you have to work a certain amount of hours.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like ours was 88. So I ended up to try and stay away from getting myself in the system. My insurance got canceled. So now I had to go get access. And it seems like somehow that could be, I don't know who or where or how that could be changed. Because it's like a lot of, like supermarkets, restaurants, things like that. A lot of the low poverty people work at.
No, for a time, Walmart used to give lessons to their employees on how to get access, so they wouldn't have to provide their insurance program. Other companies do that as well. Fast food franchises, okay, you do your orientation, and they give you an access form on how you can access the program. And I say that because one of the things that's going on, and I've supported legislation to make it that the cap would be 25 hours, not 40. That a lot of people they get under the letter of the law by doing 30 or less, and so you have an employee that's working 30 hours and therefore doesn't qualify for whatever insurance program that particular company or that particular business has. And so one of the things to kind of make them play straight is to say 25. Maybe it's just dropping 5 hours, but it means because a whole lot to both to the person, but more so to the business. Because at some point, you can't keep going lower and lower in the hours that you give employees that you need to run your business. So it's a little convenient way not to have to give insurance. One of the things people got really mad at was the mandate that was part of the health reform issue, which said that if that you're going to have to, we'll incentivize you, we'll give you tax credit, but you're going to have to provide your folk with health care. And the White House has backed off from it a little bit. That's too bad. But the idea was to say to a business, in your situation, you must have a basic package of health care that you provide to your employees. That would go so far. We're going to have to get almost.
Any other one last question?
Yes.
Well, let's,
Okay,
No, this.
hold on.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to, wondering if there's any help I can get from you. Because I came back, I was raised here, and I graduated from Detroit High School. Went to Pima for a while, then I moved to California. Came back in 2001. The reason why I'm in this chair is because I was bit by a tick. I never knew anything about ticks. My mother took my daughter to the Rio, and she had one in her knee. She had one in her knee, and they took it out. The doctor wrote a letter saying that it was a tick, and I took it to every hospital in Tucson. And I've been misdiagnosed I've been in this chair because of that since 2003. That's a long time. And I was wondering, they say I took 2 Lyme disease tests, but evidently some doctors don't know how to read them correctly, I guess. And the reason why I'm still here, I had arthritis. I read up on it when I was in the hospital for a UTI. I thought it was purpose just to get antibiotics.
We'll leave you a number you can call. You can talk to one of our folks in confidence.
And one more thing, the bullying. My daughter goes to Tucson High, and you know how girls, especially at that age, are jealous, whatever. And I was wondering, the charter schools, are they hard to get your kid into?
I don't know.
You know, do you?
I'm not a big charter school person.
Are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
all church schools are easy.
Yes, sir.
I just want to
And
thank,
we'll give you a card so you can call. So you can talk to somebody in confidence,
okay.
okay? Because we need a release for you so that.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to thank you for programs like Access and Primavera, because
that transitional housing and the health
Amen.
takes your mind off a lot of the, which shrubbery you're going to sleep under that.
That's right.
I honestly don't know where I'd be without Primavera, so thank you, Primavera.
That's a good place. I remember when, I remember my association with Primavera was an original trailer many, well, almost everybody here was not around, getting old. And it's not that it's expanded because it wanted to, it's expanded because it's needed to.